As I was living in Europe and Spain when I first came here, I soon realized, and I had realized that when I was a student at Moody Bible Institute, that Belgium was a very unreached country.
We know that the way to reach Belgium for Christ is through the local church.
Our church should never have existed without OM.
I've done practical work all of these years in Zaventem. 7 years I worked as a mechanic, and now for 25 years I've been working doing building construction and maintenance and organizing conferences. But what really makes us passionate is being able to serve this church.
The whole story began with OM coming to Belgium 50 years ago.
We were a part of a small group, like 5 or 6 families who started a church here in Zaventem.
And when they came here, they asked God to plant here a church.
Not just one, but a number of churches.
And then the first 25 years, nothing happened. Some people tried, it didn't work. But in the meantime, some people came to Christ.
And so it was exciting some years ago when a new church was born.
It was the first time that there was a Protestant church, an evangelical church in Zaventem, in this town, since the Reformation 400 years ago.
They first came together in a school.
And then later they started to use this building as their worship center.
Here in Belgium, churches of 100 people are already great churches, so it's not the American style of being church.
130 people coming to worship on a Sunday is a success story in Belgium.
And so we always have been connected with the OM.
Not officially part of OM, but part of God's great program for this nation.
Our purpose as OM Belgium is to serve the Belgian church and help them reach their purpose in Belgium and abroad.
They are big on church planting. They want to support pioneer projects in the country, and that's what we need.
Yes, we need evangelical churches, and that they are that we plant them.
OM has a heart for church plants, and that takes a lot of courage. So I really have a lot of respect for what they're doing.
This is a very important and exciting place in the entire global history of OM. The impact upon Belgium, of course, is hard to measure. People have come to Christ, new churches have been born, we've been part of it. We've evangelized around Belgium as much as almost any other group in history. But as far as seeing large numbers come, that has not happened in Belgium.
It seems like stuff takes time in Belgium.
But conversions are taking place, and generally it's all linked with our partnership with local churches, which is how we operate.
OM Belgium is really divided into 3 departments, or 3 mini teams as a big team. And one of them is the outreach department.
We know Karen and Andrew, 2 people from OM.
OM Belgium's outreach team is passionate about partnering with local churches, particularly local church planters, to see their ministry explode. Our heart is to see an indigenous growth in the church, to raise local leadership, to raise a local expression of worship. And we're a combination of artists and all sorts of crazy kind of skills, and we do everything from building to arts to music to, yeah, you name it. Cooking, who knows. Our outreach team at the moment is 10 people. We have Karen and myself who help oversee this whole thing. We have Anna and Lisa working as visual artists and looking at church planting. We have Sada and Rochelle working in Leuven. We have Thomas and Matt working in Tienen.
One young man is from Australia, his name is Matt, and another young man is from Germany, and his name is Thomas.
I was praying about the opportunities, and Belgium was the opportunity that came up, and as my first thought was, Belgium, where's that?
January 2009, I was asked to play on Go conference, which is a beginner conference for OM, and I was in the church next to OM, and so I was asked to play the drums there, and that happened how I met my team leader, and the rest is history.
My role with the church in and of itself, I work with Thomas. We disciple the young people on Sunday afternoons. We try and spend time with the young people.
They are putting their apartments open at Sunday afternoon, and our youth is very happy to go there, and they have a place. So that's important.
On top of that, we're part of the church community. We're trying to be involved wherever we can in the ministry that the church is doing. I'm working with OM as well, as we're trying to use music as a means to connect people to the gospel, using the culture that they know and they're familiar with, and pointing to Jesus through that. Australian culture is actually not too dissimilar from Belgian culture. It's which is great. I've been able to fit in really well. It's very laid back. Timing is slow. Like there's no reliance on punctuality and that sort of thing. It's perfect for me.
As German, we are used to be on time, like exactly on time, sometimes on second. It's really not here. So 15 minutes too late is still just in time.
I think the biggest challenges have been language.
Yeah, hard to speak deeply with them in English, so they don't really speak English, I don't really speak English, I don't speak Dutch yet.
It takes a lot of practice and trying to, and miscommunication.
To learn Dutch and then to find a relationship to them, it's quite, takes some patience.
There's been a number of times where I've been in a conversation and I've been really quite embarrassed because someone said something about me in Dutch and I'm not sure what they said, and everyone's laughing. I'm like, I'm sure that's funny, but I just really want to go home right now. About a month ago, I led worship in Dutch for the first time, even though I can't speak Dutch. I sang quite a number of Dutch songs for the church, which was interesting challenge, lots of practice beforehand. It did feel like it might have ended up being more of a, oh, you're so cute, you speak Dutch sort of response from everyone, but it's a start.
We had an outreach here in Tienen, and we had like a youth evening and questioning round, fries and frikandellen. I mean, I have English is not my mother tongue, and it was really nice to see like how I got wisdom from God or Holy Spirit to answer questions, which I would not be able in English. So it's really, really cool to see that happening.
It's not always easy, but I'm totally convinced that God has placed me here.
Yeah, I feel here totally in the right place, and I think it's exactly the place God wants me to, and it's from day to day confirming, and I'm pretty happy to be here.
He's calling me to put to death my God of self-worth, self-esteem, and just remember that I'm here for Him and to see people come to know Him. And if I get to be a fool for Christ, I like that. That works for me.
We have Joel and Lara, who have just joined us as well, now currently working in Brussels.
La Catalpa is a church that came out of a community center that Nat and Annette Winston have started.
Our role at the church right now, since we have just come here 5 weeks ago, is really just integration, to learn the language, become familiar with the culture and the people.
What we need and what the members of our church need is just encouragement. It's hard to stay faithful to the community when numbers are so low.
It's a church of about 20 to 30 people.
They will just bring their faith and enthusiasm and and be an encouragement to the church and also to us personally.
Last Sunday was the first Sunday that I've ever seen us run out of chairs for people that are attending, which was really exciting.
We're looking forward to working together with them and have them connect with younger people and the kids.
What Laura and I are really hoping for is to really connect with the young people in the church, people from the age of 13 to 25.
Hopefully we'll be able to find different ministry opportunities that fit their gifts and passion.
Lean as well is one of our heroes, this elderly South African lady who's in her 70s and decided that she needs to learn Turkish so that she can work with her neighbourhood and working with a church in Brussels.
Well, her ministry really, she wanted to reach out to Turkish women, was in line with what we were doing.
So Gottlieb was kind enough, their church invited me.
Well, she has come to our church for quite some years now. She has been very faithful, helping in all ways, helping especially with the meals and reaching out to the people in our neighborhood. The area of where the church is now become an area with a lot of immigrants coming from Turkey and Albania and Africa too. And we feel the responsibility to reach out somehow to these people, which is quite a challenge because most of the people in our neighborhood are Muslims. Many people that are immigrants into Belgium, they have to apply for their papers quite close to where our church is. And during the day, they look for a place to stay, and the train station is one of the best spots to do that.
There was more than 6,000 people sleeping on the roof. That means they had no place to sleep. They would sleep at the station or under cars or whatever.
And well, we started to invite them to come to eat with us at these meals. Yeah, this we have been doing now for a few years already.
And it's very well received, and you can see some of them are really becoming our friends now. They come there and they are happy to see us, and we're happy to see them.
And so now, I will not say we are experienced, but we have some experience because we do this, reaching out to Muslim people.
We don't see that much fruit, but we sow the seeds, we give the food now, and the pastor tells a story, a Bible story also. And we show the Jesus film sometimes. And once, 2 years ago, there was a family from Bosnia who was sleeping on the station, and they came from then they came to church on Sundays, although he could speak English and she could speak German. But they kept on coming and finally accepted the Lord Jesus. And that was very good.
So we're very happy with Lien. We are amazed about her energy at her age and the courage she has to live here, far away from her family, in this, after all, foreign country to her. But we're happy to have her, absolutely.
If we can find what it is that unlocks people's hearts to receiving the gospel, then we've potentially unlocked something that can be used throughout Catholic Europe, because the problems here in Belgium are typical for the whole of Catholic Europe in particular. And we strongly believe if we can crack it here, we'll see a church planting movement started that spreads across Europe. And we're not talking about a denominational church movement, we're talking about an indigenous, European bred movement of church that transforms the face of who Europe is. We're recruiting artists and church developers and people with leadership skills to come and walk alongside the Belgian church, looking for that edge of the church, looking for how do we expand the borders and be something more than who we are today. Just imagine walking with a local person who doesn't believe they can do anything, and seeing these people who didn't think they could lead, leading. Seeing these people who didn't think they could create, creating. And then teaching that to their friends, and to their friends' friends. And from that, establishing communities of faith. Establishing a movement of church. Come join us.
if you have teams from OM, you get not a bunch of Christians, but you get a family.